Hey. I just wanted to come and talk about how we all go through moments of grief. And it seems like the way I've been looking at it is like drowning in the desert. It really doesn't make any sense. But that's how I felt, like my head was being held under. And other people feel grief differently. But there's one fact about being a human is you're going to feel grief at some point, and if you're around somebody that's dealing with it, the best thing you can do is just be there for them. Listen if they want to talk, sit in silence if they don't, but don't tell them to accept it and move on, or just to remember the good times and don't think about other things, because we're all going through grief in our own way. And some people want to talk and vent, and others are more comfortable being in their head. And that is almost like when you have a very big moment that like just sparks that grief within you. That's where you start having that almost like your spirit waking up. We all know it as the dark night of the soul, but that's understanding that things are not the way they appear, and that they can't continue the way that they were, because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And it's really hard, especially when you're grieving the living, because there are roads that could lead you back to fixing that situation. But sometimes we also just have to let things go for the moment, because we do need to focus on ourselves to heal. And this journey of life, man, if you're on the healing journey, it is not easy. It is like having no shocks and being on a bumpy ass road and feeling every bit of it. And by the time you're done, you're like, oh my God, I hurt so bad. I don't even know how I did that. I don't want to do that ever again. And the thing about being a human, though, is you're going to go through levels of healing, because there's certain aspects within all of us and they vary, but we have to come to terms with, who we were, where we came from, the choices we made to get to where we are and who we are now. And then to, even if we're not content with where we are now, having to pick those juggling balls back up and start going again, going, okay, these are my options. This road will take me that way, and looking at the potential outcomes and understanding where we need to go. But when you're grieving, you can't think in the concept of, okay, this is how I accept it and move forward. Because a lot of time it's just like being frozen in fear. You can get stuck in memories and never even know how to overcome those feelings that you're feeling. And you can talk to countless people and they can't help you, because we each process it our own way, on our own level, in our own time. So, like I said, if you're dealing with someone who's grieving, or you yourself are grieving, be patient. Give it time. Allow those feelings to come up. Bawl your eyes out, hit a punching bag, walk in the forest, whatever you got to do. Exercise, drink water. Try to stay positive. Just try to keep your mindset positive, because when you let grief engulf you, that's when it becomes, it freezes you. You don't want to move forward anymore. And you don't want to get stuck grieving, I remember being young and having to experience a death in the family for the first time, where I was old enough to comprehend it, and watching how it affected my mom at the time. And it was so hard. And I remember I became the clown. And all I knew was to try to make her smile. If I can make her smile again, she'll be okay. And it took a while. And she was never really the same, because when you lose someone very important to you, it's not the same. But That's the magic of life. People come in our lives for a reason. No matter if they're your children. Me getting all emotional again, who knew? But even your parents, we have people that cycle in and out of our lives to help us see different perspectives of life, different understandings of who we are. Some people are blessings and some people are lessons, to help you continue to grow and move forward on your path in life. Because if not, you're like a seed that was planted that never flourished. And if you never grew into anything, then essentially you were a dud of a seed, right? It's like nobody wants that firecracker that doesn't pop on 4th of July. So we all have a process that we have to go through. Just keep that in mind. And I know I've said that quite a few times, and I'm going to keep reminding you to be patient. Be patient with yourself and be patient with the ones that you love, because especially when you're going through grief or around someone in grief, those are the very fragile moments, and we all know what it's like to lose something. So open up that compassionate side. Empathize. Put yourself in their shoes. And like I said, we've all been through this situation. So at some point I won't say it's easy, but it's doable to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And the more that we're honest and open up to one another, the more that we start to see that the grieving process becomes easier and easier. Because when you're like, no, I'm strong, I'm going to do it all by myself. I can handle this. I don't need anybody's help. I don't need anybody's understanding. When you get into that mindset, that's where actually you can hold yourself back and then get stuck in a very dark place to where someone could say the funniest thing in the world and you just look at them like, really? Like, nothing is good. And I remember being in that spot in my head. Nothing is good. And my kids are the only thing that pulled me out of that. But when I was in the pit of it, even my kids couldn't. I was so annoyed by everything around me. I was so emotional because of everything that had happened. I didn't want to eat. I couldn't sleep. I shut down. And it was because I had always had to be that strong person. Don't let them see you cry. Don't let them see you get upset. Don't let them see that they tripped you. Don't, just always being that warrior. And when I finally got to the point to where I could cry, even in front of my kids, it showed them I was human. I wasn't a robot. It showed them it was okay to feel that pain. It was okay to accept the loss and endure the hurt. And by me doing that, it helped them to learn how to release and do those things as well. And I think we forget a lot of times, we're teachers. We're the guides for the next generation. We have to learn to be vulnerable one more time. Because as children, we're so vulnerable and trusting, and at some point along that path, we get hurt and we shut down and say, I'm not doing that again. I don't like that feeling. I don't want to ever go through that again. And the sad fact of the matter is you're going to go through it all through life. You can hate the entire world and still feel grief, especially for yourself, because you haven't given yourself the ability to trust and love. And when you're in a tornado, just remember to hold on, because it's not going to be there forever. It's not something that's going to destroy you as long as you don't let it. Because once again, you have to turn that mindset around, create a goal that you're working towards to help you to continue to move. Because if you don't move, that's when you're going to get stuck. And if you don't listen and just be, that's where you're going to push somebody to their breaking point. So, like I said, if you're going through grief or you're around somebody, I'm sending you so much love and light, because it's not an easy process. But just be patient with the process and allow it to flow in a way that it works for you or the person that you're around. So sending you lots of love and light once again, because we all need it. We all need it. And hug yourself and remind yourself that it's okay to feel down, and it's okay to allow yourself to get back up, So stay strong. Don't give up. Bye-bye.